When we think climate change, many of us picture this: melting snow caps, rising sea levels and record high temperatures somewhere in the future. Most people still wrongly believe that the consequences of climate change are distant and that they do not affect our daily lives today, which explains the snooze fest around climate action. But the fact is, climate change is happening right now. Cyclones are ravaging our coasts, turbulence is shaking our skies, it is plunging planes into chaos and injuring, even killing passengers on flights. This is not a future problem, it's a present crisis. And before you think, not this again, watch our next report.
Torrential rain, heavy winds, cancelled flights, toppled trees, damaged houses, snapped telephone lines, and millions of people left without power. On Sunday night, Cyclone Ramal made its landfall in the coastal regions of Bangladesh.
I've never seen such a lengthy cyclone in decades. Usually the storm stays for a couple of hours, but this one has been going since last night. Don't know when it will end.
Ramal was the first cyclone of this year for the region. It lashed the coastlines of India and Bangladesh, pounding the low-lying coasts of the South Asian neighbours. At least 16 people have died, and the death toll could rise further. In Bangladesh, 10 people lost their lives. At least 6 died in India's West Bengal. Both nations have moved nearly 1 million people to storm shelters. Nearly 3 million are without electricity. The damage is far worse in the Sundarbans shared by India and Bangladesh. It's the world's largest mangrove forest. Here the high tides breached protective embankments.
The cyclone made landfall at 6 p.m. yesterday. The wind is still blowing, raising the tide level. Due to the 10 to 12 hours of sustained winds and rain, the water level has risen by 8 to 10 feet.
Cyclones are not uncommon in this region. Since 1965, the Bangladesh coastline has seen 12 major cyclones. It has killed 450,000 people till date. But in the recent years, storms have become more frequent. The reason is climate change. Global warming is driving up temperatures. It's making our seas and oceans warmer. That leads to more intense cyclones, especially in the northern Bay of Bengal. So Ramal is clearly not going to be the last. But while the ocean waters are choppy, things aren't much better in the air. In fact, like the sea, it's quite the bumpy ride. On May 26th, 12 people were injured on a Qatar Airways flight. It was flying from Doha to Dublin. The flight encountered turbulence. Passengers were injured. And it's not a first. It comes just 5 days after a Singapore Airlines flight dropped 6,000 feet in 5 minutes. One person even died due to turbulence. Several others were severely injured. The reason? Climate change strikes again. It's turbocharging turbulence. You see, turbulence can be due to many reasons. It can be because of weather events like rain and storms. Then there's turbulence due to geography like mountains. But the turbulence these flights are experiencing is because of none of this. It's known as clear air turbulence. Basically, you're cruising at 35,000 feet. The conditions are cloudless. And suddenly, you're hit by a jet stream of air. It causes the flight to rise, fall, or even move sideways. Now, no one can predict this clear air turbulence. It can happen any time. And it's because of rising temperatures. It's leading to higher wind speeds and more such fast-flowing streams of air. Not just that, it costs the airline industry $500 million every year in damages caused to the aircraft. It shows you how climate change is changing the world. It's no more about freak weather events like cyclones, it's also disrupting our daily lives, on land, in the seas, and up above.
Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. South Africa goes to the polls on the 29th of May. I will track the election and bring you ground reports. Is it the end of the road for the African National Congress? And will former President Jacob Zuma stage a dramatic comeback? From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global south. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost.